Shalom Israel, this is Bishop Nathaniel. The Israelites have been scattered across the four corners of the earth, as prophesied in Deuteronomy the 20th chapter. Here at Israel United in Christ, we need your help to recover the remnant of our people, teach them the gospel. Please help us, support us, and join or donate to the Booster Club today. Shalom.
Hey, Shalom family, Most High Christ bless. Happy to see y'all, man. I always feel more excited when I spend a little time not here. So, I was not around for the last couple of weeks. So I was better, right? Went to visit LA, you know, that was a good time. Now I'm here, and yeah, man. I was in LA last week, man. On Sunday, me and the wife went out to go do a little shopping. We went to get shopping. We was in LA, and I was showing Shiloh LA. I was like, "Hey, we standing on like where this like the top of this roof, like where you park and stuff." And we stand up there, and I'm like, "Oh, let me show Shiloh the skyline of LA." You know what I'm saying? So I pick Shiloh up. I say, "Look, there go all the buildings and stuff." He's like, "Dang, I don't see nothing." It was extremely foggy out there. Like, it was horrible. You know what I'm saying? So, which led to, possibly, led to the untimely death of Kobe Bean Bryant, right? So, we're going to talk about, today we're going to talk about the Mamba's mentality. Mamba's mentality. So, myself, if y'all don't know, right, I grew up playing basketball my whole life. Played a lot of ball. I actually was not a Kobe fan, but I was a Kobe fan, if that makes sense, right? I didn't like Kobe, but I didn't know him. You know what I'm saying? But like, when you play basketball, like, you think you know people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't think I liked him, but I liked his work. I liked the way he worked. Like, you can look at him and say, like, that brother worked, man. It was no denying the amount of effort he put into everything that he did. And you could see it. It was very, like, it would manifest itself. So that was something I always, like, saw from a distance from Kobe that I always thought was pretty interesting. We'll start with this scripture. Let's go to Matthew chapter 10 and verse 6. Get that first video ready for me, sir. We're going to go to Matthew chapter 10, and we're going to read verse 16, I believe. What did I say, 6? I meant to say 16. Is that the one? Wise as serpents? Yeah, that's the one. Matthew 10 and 16. Come on.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 10 and verse 16.
Okay.
Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves.
Yep.
Be ye therefore wise as serpents.
What did Christ say we supposed to be?
Be ye therefore wise as serpents,
okay,
and harmless as doves.
Let's read it one more time.
Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves.
Mm-hmm.
Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves.
So Christ said we're supposed to be wise as serpents, right? So when you I read this book called Grit. It kind of had like a lot of like philosophy or sayings in it, right? So what Kobe had done is he had took on a moniker or a philosophy, or what he called a mentality, in his approach to life and his approach to doing things. It was called the Mamba's mentality. Or we might, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Again, I'm not saying this brother was holy, he was keeping the commandments. I'm not saying any of that. But what I am saying that his approach to doing things and getting things accomplished was he had put a lot of thought into it. And when you listen to him speak, you know, some of the things he said, you can tell, like, man, he thought about things clearly, you know what I'm saying? Which we can learn from, right? We can learn from those things. Read that scripture one more time.
Matthew chapter 10 and verse 16.
Yeah.
Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves.
Uh-huh.
Be ye therefore wise as serpents.
So we gotta ask ourselves, what does a serpent think like? Right? He said, be wise as a serpent. What does a serpent think like? What does a mamba think like? Right? Let's go to the first video. Let's watch this.
Do you think that your game was as good as it's ever been during that period of time?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Physically, I was there.
Unbelievable. He's at 42 and counting.
Mentally, I was there.
50. His 6 50-point games. Stop. Spin. Fire. 61 points tonight. 81-point game. History tonight at Staples Center.
Now, at that point, was that when the Black Mamba raised its head?
Yeah.
Or was it identified?
Because it was always there.
It was always there. It just is identified.
Let's put a name to it.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, like I said, there's a difference between who you are and what you are. And what I am when I step on that court is I become that. I am that killer snake. You know, I'm stone cold.
So he said it's a difference between who you are and what you are, right? What we tend to do, right, is we tend to get offended at the imperfections in which we have in our life instead of looking for ways to improve those imperfections, right? That's what he's saying. When he says the difference between who you are and what you are. No, stop that. Go to Sirach 32 and 15. Sirach 32 and 15.
Here's the book of Sirach, chapter 32 and verse 15.
Yeah.
He that seeketh the law shall be filled therewith, but the hypocrite will be offended thereat.
So when you seeking like ways to improve yourself, you shouldn't be offended, right? When brothers and sisters are in here, right, it should be a culture or a mentality or a philosophy of how can I improve? Not, you know what, I'm already good, I'm already perfect. We should have that culture of like, you know what can I do better? What am I doing wrong? Right now, I come to brothers and sisters after class sometimes. I say, did my class make sense? Did it suck? What did you hear? What can I do better? Right? I'm not saying that because I want y'all to say, you know, we did a great job. I want to know, like, what can I do better? How can I make things better? Right? But a lot of times, brothers and sisters are easily offended at things. You know what I'm saying? But his mentality was, you know what? It's the difference between who I am and what I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I improve myself? How can I improve myself? Let's go to the next video. It should be mindset of a winner. Go back to that one. I just want like the first 30 seconds. The first minute.
You really want me on the team. What's your approach to recruiting? You want first place, come play with me. You want second place, go somewhere else. It's like I would watch Magic play. I'd watch Michael play. And I would see them do these unbelievable things. And I'd say, you know, can I get to that level? I don't know, but that's fine.
That's why he's the best player in the day.
Everything was done to try to learn how to become a better basketball player. Everything. And so when you have that point of view, then literally the world becomes your library to help you become better at your craft. So because you know what you want, the world's giving you exactly the information 100% because you know what you're looking for.
Stop. So he said the world became his library because he knew exactly what it is that he was looking for. Right? Everything all right? Yeah. All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 13, verse 45. So he knew exactly what he was looking for. A lot of times, what happens in life, right, and this is something that I can't stand about us as a people, is that we don't know what we want to do with our life a lot of times, right? And so since we don't know what we want to do with our life, then we just kind of go in this circle of nothingness, right? We just kind of keep cycling instead of figuring out like any type of vision that we want to accomplish. Matthew chapter 13, verse 45. Come on.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 13 and verse 45.
Yeah.
Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls.
So the kingdom of heaven is like somebody that's seeking something, right? To have that Mamba mentality, to have that type of thought process, that philosophy, that means you got to know which direction you want to go. We don't never know which direction we want to go. I can't stand that about our people, man. We have no clue. We get confused. We be like, man, why are all these Chinese people doctors? Why are all these Edomites doing this thing? Why does this culture seem to have the market cornered on this type of profession, this type of lifestyle? And we can't figure out why it is. Read the scripture again.
Matthew chapter 13 and verse 45. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls.
We got to know what we're looking for. We got to say, you know what? I want to be this. I want to accomplish this. This is my goal. That's how we determine a certain mentality. That's how we determine a certain philosophy when we pick a direction. But a lot of times we don't. And we just be like, I don't know. I'm going to let my kids be whatever they want to be. Whatever they feel like, I'm going to let them do it. Nah, man. You got to see what's in them, and you got to be able to try to, like, point them in a certain direction. Again, I'm not saying none of this because I'm trying to say I'm great. But my son, my 15-year-old, he just got, like, accepted to the National Youth Medicine Fellowship, right? That didn't start last week. When he was born, when Deucey was born, it was certain things we did. And those things was put into him from age 1 to 5, because I always feel like that's the most crucial time, right? From 1 to 5. So it was a lot of time spent with him, with his sister, right? My daughter want to go to law school, right? That's a whole different story. But it was a lot of time spent trying to make sure that we put certain disciplines in their life, right? Let's go to Psalms chapter 143, verse 5. Psalms 143, verse 5. We'll come back to Matthew. Hold that Matthew. We're going to go right back to it.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 143 and verse 5.
Yeah.
I remember the days of old.
Mm-hmm.
I meditate on all thy works. I muse on the work of thine hands.
So to muse is to be inspired. You see something that you want to be, and you say, you know what? I'm going to learn from that person. I'm going to learn from that action. And I'm going to say, you know what? I want to become that. All right, well, how do you do that? You get a muse, right? He got another documentary which called Kobe Bryant and the Muse. And he breaks down, like he just was talking about, the people that he looked up to. Right. Well, no, it was MJ, it was Magic, it was Russell. It was guys that, like, was the top. You know what I'm saying? Nothing against Worthy, but it was, you're going to get me in a whole different philosophy. Stop. Anyway, but the thing is that he would say he was never really playing against the people that was on the floor. He was playing against Jordan. He was playing against Magic. That was his competition. The people that was there was just in the way of him getting to his ultimate goal because he was chasing ghosts. Right? He was chasing the muse. He was chasing those people that had done it the best. He wanted to be there. The people that's around him, they was just in the way. You know what I'm saying? That was nothing. You know what I'm saying? The muse. So we got to have a muse, right? We got to say, you know what? In order to have a Mamba's mentality, to be wiser than a serpent, what we have to do, we got to have some type of inspiration. And that'll give us some type of direction. Let's go back to the video. We'll go back to Matthew. Go back to Matthew again. Read Matthew one more time. Matthew 13:45.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 13 and verse 45.
Yeah.
Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls.
Yeah.
Who, when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net.
I wanted that. My phone, my brain drifted out. Read that one more time.
Verse 45?
45, yeah.
Matthew chapter 13, verse 45.
And I talk about this to my big sisters kind of regularly, right? Is that, because what happens is, right, some of you brothers that one day will become soldiers, what we do is, right, we want to help you to be able to analyze the scriptures with direction, right? So it's no more, oh, I'm just reading the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Right? We want you to learn the precepts. Why? Because one day when you get that purple shirt, you become a soldier. Next thing that's going to happen is that we're going to show you how to read with direction. Because everybody can read the Bible. But how do you read with direction? How do I read the Bible and find answers concerning somebody with marital issues? How do I read the Bible and find answers with somebody that's having problems with their kids? How do I read the Bible and find answers for if I'm having problems at work? Right? That's what we want to do. Right? We want to start to kind of build that. But what happens is you have to go through the first part and just learn the basic precepts. Read that one more time. I'm just kind of going. Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 13 and verse 45.
Yeah.
Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls.
So you know what you're looking for. You're looking for goodly pearls. Go ahead.
Who, when he had found one pearl of great price,
Yes.
went and sold all that he had and bought it.
So that's what you got to do, right? You got to say, you know, this is the thing I'm looking for. I'm going to go all the way after this thing because this is what I want to be. This is what I want to accomplish with my life. This is what I'm trying to become. That's how you accomplish that Mamba's mentality. That's how you become wiser than a serpent. You got some direction. You got some inspiration. You know what you want to be. Let's go back to the video.
So many guys tell stories about your work ethic.
Yeah.
What was really your work ethic like, and for how long did you stay disciplined?
Well, I mean, every day. I mean, since 20 years. It's an everyday process. And trying to figure out strengths and weaknesses. For example, jumping ability. Now, my vertical was a 40, wasn't a 46, it was 45. My hands are big, but they're not massive. Right? So you got to figure out ways to strengthen them. So your hands are strong enough to be able to palm a ball and do the things that you need to do. Quickness, I was quick, but not insanely quick. I was fast, but not ridiculously fast. Right? So I had to rely on skill a lot more. I had to rely on angles a lot more. I had to study the game a lot more. And but I enjoyed it though. So like from the time I can remember when I started watching the game, I studied the game. And it just never.
All right. So what he was saying was that he wasn't the biggest, he wasn't the fastest, he wasn't the quickest, right? But what he relied on more was that discipline, right? That focus, right? That attention to detail. And that's what we tend to lack, right? And that's how we achieve what he would call a Mamba's mentality and what Christ called being wiser than a serpent. Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5. Second Corinthians.
It's the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5.
Yeah.
Examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith.
Yeah.
Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that Jesus Christ is in you, except ye be reprobate.
So what we tend to do, like I was saying before, is that we don't really examine ourselves, right? We don't see things like being slothful, right? We don't see things like not having a clear mentality, a clear philosophy. We don't see those things as problems. We was doing a class, Daily Bread, and Azariah was talking about how smokers, when they smoke, and people around them say, "Hey man, you smell like cigarettes," and they say, "No, I don't smell like cigarettes," because they've been so engulfed in that smoke, they don't think it's a problem. It's not until you come out of that thing and you can step back, you can say, "You know what, dang, I did. Cigarettes do stink. I do smell it now." And that's what happens to a lot of us, is that we so used to whatever it is that we doing, when somebody come to you and say, "Hey, you're doing this thing wrong," we got a problem with it. This is wrong. What you're doing is wrong. No, it's not. I've been doing this my whole life. Ain't nothing wrong with this. I'm good. Let's go to Exodus chapter 8. Exodus chapter 8. This is what we do. I'm going to show you this. I always read this scripture, man. It's crazy. Exodus chapter 8. So Moses is dealing with one of the pharaohs in Egypt, right? So he's dealing with the pharaoh. He's telling him, "Hey, man, the Lord said, let my people go, or I'm going to put some frogs on you." Right? Let's start. Exodus chapter 8. We'll start at verse 5.
It's the book of Exodus chapter 8 and verse 5.
Yeah.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, say unto Aaron, stretch forth thine hand with thy rod over the streams, over the rivers, and over the ponds, and cause frogs to come up upon the land of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land of Egypt.
So you got to think, man, the frogs came up out of the land of Egypt, right? There's frogs everywhere, right? Now, like I was telling y'all, right, what happens, like, when you become a smoker is that it's just natural. Like, you like, it's just Smell like smoke. You got frogs everywhere. Guess what you gonna think? It's normal. This is frogs. There's nothing wrong with this. Go ahead. Come on.
Verse 7. And the magicians did so with their enchantments and brought up frogs upon the land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, entreat the Lord that he may take away the frogs from me.
Now he said, look, man, it's frogs everywhere, man. Get these frogs out of Egypt, Moses. Come on.
And from my people.
Yep.
And I will let the people go, that they may do sacrifice unto the Lord.
Uh-huh.
And Moses said unto Pharaoh.
And Moses said unto Pharaoh,
glory over me.
Uh-huh.
When shall I entreat for thee?
What did he say?
When shall I entreat for thee?
He said, when you want me to go pray for you? When you want me to go get these frogs out of the land? Come on.
And for thy servants and for thy people to destroy the frogs from thee and thy houses.
Here it comes.
That they may remain in the river only.
Here it comes.
And he said, tomorrow.
The dude said what?
Tomorrow.
What the dude say?
Tomorrow.
That's what we do, man. This is what we do. We see a problem, right? And we say, what? What he say?
Tomorrow.
He say tomorrow. We say, no, we're going to wait, man. I'll fix it. I'll fix it later. You never know what might happen, man. When you don't live your life to the fullest, you never know what might happen. We see what happened with the brother, right? The helo crash. He do that every day. Every day he rode in that helo. Like we do. We tend to say tomorrow. I'll worry about that tomorrow, man. I can fix it later. It's not a big deal. That's not having a Mamba's mentality. That's not being wise as a serpent. Being slack. Waiting to get things accomplished. Right? And I know when I've been doing my 15 minutes with the captain, that kind of been my focus, right? Looking at really the mindset that kind of makes us the people that we are, right? The bishops say this all the time, right? Strong families build a strong nation. I'm going to say the opposite, right? Procrastination destroys a nation. That's what we tend to do. We procrastinate. We say, tomorrow, man, I'll do that later, man. I'm good. Let's go to this. Let's go to Haggai. Let's go to Haggai chapter 1. Haggai chapter 1. And we'll start at verse 1. If I can find Haggai, I can find it. Don't give up on me. Give me 2 seconds. Sample there? Shh, don't tell me. I got it. Come on. Haggai 1 and 1.
It's the book of Haggai, chapter 1 and verse 1.
Yeah.
In the 2nd year of Darius the king, in the 6th month, in the 1st day of the month, came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet unto Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, This people say, the time is not come.
This is what we do, right? Again, this is not having the proper mindset, the proper mentality, right? The time is not come. Go ahead.
The time that the Lord's house should be built.
Yep.
Then came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet, saying, Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste?
Yep.
Now therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways.
I gotta understand, man, that brother Don was supposed to be a wake-up call to us all. We supposed to consider our ways. We supposed to say, you know what? Where am I being slack? Where am I being lazy? Because this guy right here, when we look at this, he wasn't slack. He wasn't lazy. He was busy. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying he was busy doing the Lord's work. He was busy doing worldly stuff, but he was busy. He was disciplined. Come on.
Ye have sown much, and bring in little.
Yep.
Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes.
Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways.
He said, consider your ways. See, a lot of times we'll ask ourselves, read verse 6 one more time. Watch what he just said.
Haggai chapter 1 and verse 6.
Yeah.
Ye have sown much.
We have so much. We can't figure out. We working hard. We get paid a certain amount of money. Go ahead.
And bring in little.
We can't figure out why we only got barely enough to make it though. Because we slack. Because we not disciplined. Because we say, you know what, tomorrow. I'll do it later. I'll figure that out another time. I'm tired right now. I'm sleepy. I'm busy. Come on.
Ye eat, but ye have not enough.
Yep.
Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink.
Mm-hmm.
Ye clothe you, but there is none worn.
Yep.
And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes.
And this all go back to the same circle, right? We doing all this stuff with no direction. We doing whatever we doing, and we never accomplish. You know what? This is my goal. This is what I want to accomplish. That's the difference, right? That's what we have to have. Again, developing that Mamba mentality will go back to us saying, this is the direction that we want. When Christ said, be wise as a serpent, he's telling you, look at what you want to become and figure out how to get to it. Learn the angles. Learn the different ways to approach it. How can you get it, make it happen? Because again, you got to think, man, I don't know, I ain't saying a snake don't have any different, you know what I'm saying, speed, but the stuff with it that he be having legs and stuff, you know what I'm saying, like how he get to that? He got to be thinking about the angles. He got to think about how can I set this thing up to get to it before it's even where I think it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? Cool.
Which brings that scripture to life. It says, wise as a serpent.
Yep,
Like I
exactly.
said, how is a serpent going to bring down
A bear, a tiger,
crocodile?
crocodile, yeah.
When you think of a snake is barely moving. Right?
Yep, yep,
But he's figuring it out. He's always thinking ahead.
yep.
And that's the same mentality that we should have when we're doing even our work for our jobs or doing our work for the Lord. We should have that
Work
model
for the
mentality.
family.
Yeah, for the family.
Yep,
We shouldn't be thinking of things outside of our household. If our household is a wreck,
yep.
we should be focused on those things and making it the best that we can make it.
Let's go to Joshua, chapter 18. Watch this. Chapter 18. We'll start at verse 1. We're going to read 1 through 3.
It's the book of Joshua, chapter 18 and verse 1.
Yeah.
And the whole congregation of the children of Israel assembled together at Shiloh, and set up the tabernacle of the congregation there. And the land was subdued before them.
So look, Israel, they've been out with Joshua conquering, slaying. They got it all set up, right? They done got the whole land subdued. Let's see what they doing. Go ahead.
And there remained among the children of Israel 7 tribes, which had not yet received their inheritance.
Now they got 7 tribes that's there, but they done subdued all this land. Let's see what they doing.
And Joshua said unto the children of Israel, how long are ye slack to go to possess the land, which the Lord God of your fathers hath given you?
You see what they was doing? The land was subdued before them. All they got to do is go out there and do the work, get it set up. But they say, you know what, we chilling, man. Joshua's like, how long are y'all going to be slack? This is the mentality that we currently have. This is how we think. Instead of saying, you know what, I'm not going to wait till tomorrow. I'm not going to be slack, right? I'm not going to wonder why my pockets feel like they got holes in them. The Lord is telling you why. You slack, you lazy. Ay. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 1, verse 23. Proverbs 1 and 23.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 1 and verse 23.
Yeah.
Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you.
I just want verse 23. Read it again.
Turn ye at my reproof.
What you supposed to do?
Turn you at my reproof.
When you hear different things, right? When you hear the commandments, when you hear the scriptures, right? When you hear officer such and such, or soldier such and such say something to you, you shouldn't say, you know what? I get to it. Nah, man. These are men of the Lord, and we should see each other as such. These are your sisters of the Lord. Y'all should see each other as such. When we say, hey, this is the best direction to go, not saying you got to just do exactly what I'm telling you to do, but you want to make sure that you take heed to those things. You want to say, no, maybe there might be a better way. Maybe I got the smell of smoke on me right now, and I don't even know it, and this brother, this sister is trying to help me. But instead we get offended. We say, I don't want to hear that. No. I've been doing it like this my whole life. I'm good. I ain't dead yet, so I must be all right. It must be okay doing this. Read that one more time.
Turn ye at my reproof.
You're supposed to turn at the reproof. You're supposed to make a change. Go ahead.
Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you.
He gonna make known the words unto you. Sometimes, I'm telling you, sometimes people have a whole different angle of seeing the scriptures. Whole different angle. You think you got it. And then you'll sit down with somebody else, and you'll be like, you know what, I didn't have it. I didn't have it at all. This scripture mean that. Dang. This is how I'm supposed to be moving through life. Dang, I wish I would have asked. This is a better way I can do my taxes. Man, I'm glad I asked you. You know what I'm saying? But instead, we've been doing it a certain way our whole life. We just keep going like it's nothing. Let's go to 7:45 on the video. We're gonna go to 8:22. I think this is the right video I put. I watched like 3 videos.
Research, you take this much. What is the decision-making process there? You call, is there first you do your own research, you take this much?
So he asking him, like, when he's not playing basketball, right? He's doing different endeavors. So he's asking him, what is your process to, like, make financial decisions for your business, right? That's what he's asking him. All right, go ahead.
Should I call an advisor? Is there a system?
No, it's pretty simple for me. It's do you understand the business? Is it a business that you can help in some form or fashion? What are the barriers to entry to that business? And then the entrepreneurs themselves, the company itself, right? Do they have a culture that you believe is sustainable? Are these leaders people that you believe in? Are they people that are obsessive? And in turn, have they created a culture of obsessiveness? So I tend to look at those 4 factors, and that's big right there. I don't know if you guys caught that right there. That's pretty massive right there.
So he said when he's looking at businesses, right? He figures out the angles, right? If there's different barriers there. But the main thing he said, what is the culture? What is the culture? What is the culture of the people around it? Are they obsessive about whatever it is that they want to get accomplished? And us as Israelites, we have a culture. But do we live it? We should have a culture. It shouldn't just be, you know what? I wear fringes now. We have to represent something. A culture means that you represent and live a certain type of way in everything you do. Let's go to the scripture. Let's go to 2 Ezra chapter 8, verse 6. 2 Ezra chapter 8 and verse 6. Watch this.
It's the book of 2 Ezra chapter 8 and verse 6.
Yeah.
O Lord, if thou suffer not thy servant, that we may pray before thee, and thou give us seed unto our heart, and culture to our understanding.
What's our culture?
Culture to our understanding.
We always was an understanding culture, meaning what? We were very deliberate in the actions that we took. Meaning what? We had understanding in the decisions that we made. We didn't just do things. We had an economy. We had a government. We had everything set up when we was living in our own. But today, we can't seem to figure out how to just get to work on time. Today, we can't figure out how to get to the school on time. Was that our culture? Y'all think that was our culture? Of being late Negroes all the time? We the sons of God, but y'all think, we were just late to everything. We the sons of God, we were just disorganized all the time. Nah, that's not our culture. That's not the culture that Christ wanted us to have. Again, when we did that, when we lived that way, it wasn't like he was happy with us. He was pissed off. I'm going to cast you out of the land. Y'all making me look bad. That's not who I am. Read that scripture one more time.
O Lord, if thou suffer not thy servant, that we may pray before thee, and thou give us seed unto our heart, and culture to our understanding, that there may come fruit of it. How shall each man live that is corrupt, who beareth the place of a man?
So how should each man live that is corrupt? You got to ask yourself, am I corrupt? Is the culture that I'm creating in my life, in my business, in my household, what am I creating? Like I was telling y'all, what did I say? Procrastination destroys the nation, right? So you got to understand, if you are a procrastinating brother, what kind of wife you think you're going to have? If you're a procrastinating brother, what kind of children do you think you're going to have? If you procrastinate, you got to understand that is establishing a certain type of culture in your household. And then you be like, I don't know why my wife don't listen to me. Do you listen to your officers, to your soldiers that's trying to help you, give you direction? Do you listen to them? We think that those things are opposite, right? We can't seem to understand that it's no chicken or the egg, right? It's not. It's you. It's you. It's you. It's you the one that's not doing what you're supposed to do. Now everything after you is going to fall apart because you're not doing the things you're supposed to do. And we can't seem to figure that out. Like, I don't know why do people at my job hate my guts? I can't understand. Well, you suck. But you've been so used to just being in that smoke, so used to living with those frogs, you just say, yeah, I'm good. I'll figure it out tomorrow. Man. You got to establish a culture for your household, for your life, for everything around you. You got to really think about it. Everything you should do should be deliberate. It's deliberate. That's what you said. It's deliberate. It's not like he just doing stuff willy-nilly. It's deliberate. You got something on that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, go to Ecclesiastes 9 and 10, because that's exactly like when you was talking about the workplace. Like you said, you suck. Maybe you don't really suck. Maybe you just in a happy place. Maybe you're not putting in the extra. Yeah, you're just happy with what you do, but you're not putting in the extra, and you're wondering why everybody's moving around you, getting promoted and stuff like that. Because you're
same thing happens in the body.
Exactly.
In the
exactly. You see a brother that's been in charge of so-and-so department, and he's wondering why these other brothers are moving up.
Yeah.
And he's not really trying to make that department any better.
I'm just mean. I just don't like him.
It's maintaining.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, Captain Zabud don't like me, so I ain't get promoted.
So what are you supposed to do when you get a position, when you get an office, when you get a job? What are you supposed to do? Just do the minimum? I keep losing head. Who's here?
He over there.
Ecclesiastes 9 and 10.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9 and verse 10. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest.
And that's what's going to happen. You're going to sit there and do the bare minimum. Next thing you know, you're going to be dead. You didn't do enough to provide for your family. You didn't do enough to build up the body, to build up the brothers and sisters around you. You just did the mediocre type job. And you were happy with that. You can't be satisfied with whatever you're doing. You need to take it to another level, whatever you're doing.
I got you. Hold that point. Go to minute 6. Perfect segue. Thanks, Anthony.
Take vacations with other players that are close friends. And don't just take vacations just to take vacations, or just hang out just to hang out. Like I never did that. Why didn't you do that? Well, because when I retired, I didn't want to have to say, I wish I would have done this.
Stop. That's what we do, right? That's what we do all the time. We look back and say, dang, man, I wish I would have did that thing, man. Now the time's up. You never know when the Lord is coming, when he going to pull that cord. And then you say, dang, I wish I would have did more. He wanted to be able to rest and say, you know what? I'm good. I'm going to do everything I can do every day to make sure I'm good. And like I said, I was reading this book called Grit, and it was just talking about different philosophies that you have to create, right? Give me mentality. Give me the definition of mentality. Mentality. Or philosophy. It's same either or. Mentality, that's what I want. It says mental power or capacity, intelligence. It says mode or way of thought, an outlook. That's what you want to have. You want to have a mode or a way of thought. You got to have that in everything you do. Like I said, when you talk about your worldly job, when you talk about things you do for the body, when you talk about things you do at home, you should have a way of thought. That's a certain culture. That's a philosophy. That's a mentality. All of these things are interchangeable, right? That's what that creates when you want to accomplish things. And I say this all the time. Let me say this. Everybody has their own, personality or way of doing things, right? Everybody is not an alpha. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not an alpha. What does that mean? We the Israelites, right? And so you should want to be or push yourself to be the best version of you can be. I'll just say it like that. Go ahead.
That's all an alpha is. I put out a message this week about that, right? Alpha is not meaning you the loudest person in the room.
Yeah. Just
you pushing yourself to be the best person of yourself you can be.
Right.
So everybody should want to be alpha. So if you're not, you should say, how do I make myself in the room?
Yeah. How can you push yourself to be the best version of yourself? Right? Because I look at the people at my job, right? I got this award like at work, right? And my wife said to me, everybody at your job must suck because you keep getting all the awards. And I'm like, well, thanks, honey. That was a compliment. I don't know if that was a compliment or not.
I can't help you with that one. So.
I came from the stomach, so tell me.
No, but I mean, my goal, you know what I'm saying, was to be the best version of me I can be in everything I do. And I really take, like I said, I really take the Bible literally, man. When I read these words on the page, I don't say, you know what, I'm just going to isolate it to what I do for Israel United in Christ. I'm going to use it in how I be a father, how I'm a husband, how I'm a captain, how I do my job at work. I'm going to use every part of this to make myself the best version of me I can be. You know what I'm saying? I ain't get no scriptures. Let's go to a minute. We hit 7:45 already. Let's go to 9:50. 9:50. That should be the end of this thing.
You know exactly what happens in the game. You go up, you're about to take your shot, and then all of a sudden, boom, your Achilles happens, right? He went and hit the free throws, and then you walked off the stage.
Yeah.
You got the surgery done.
Right. Well, I went in the training room. My kids are in there, and you know they're looking at you and stuff, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, you know, it's all right. Dad's gonna be all right. It'll be fine. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. As a parent, you gotta set the example. You gotta set the example. This is another obstacle. This obstacle cannot define me. It's not going to cripple me. It's not going to be responsible for me stepping away from it.
So when he went, like he just said, right, when he hurt his Achilles, right, in his mind, right, his mentality was, what can I teach my kids in this moment? It wasn't like, oh, dang, my ankle hurt. That's what a lot of us do, right? We want to focus on just the pain. We got to be able to redirect our focus to what can I learn from this? What's the teaching moment in this issue right here? You know what I'm saying? Instead we just, it hurt. I say, what can I teach my kids? Go to Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 7. Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 7. Come on.
It's the book of Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 7.
Yeah.
And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
So whatever it is you're doing, you got to understand you are teaching your children a lesson. Everything you do, you're establishing the culture, you're establishing the person that you are going to leave behind you. And we don't put no foresight in what we do. We just do stuff. We just live and we just do stuff. But again, to have that Mamba mentality, to be wise as a serpent, we should think about what it is that we create in our kids. That's what we should be thinking. I want the other video, man. I'm just videoing it up. The Jordan one. It should be. Yeah, that's Jordan right there. 8:49. 8:49.
Like, my job is really to make sure that, you know, when you work here, you're tasked with challenging yourself to do the best job you can. And that means you have to be honest. Be brave about it. Like, you got to be able to look in the mirror and say, I can do better. Right?
Said, look, man, when you working for his company, so you got to be brave enough to look yourself in the mirror and say, I can be better. That's having a Mamba's mentality, right? That's being wise as a serpent. Let's go to James chapter 1 and verse 22. Yeah.
This is the book of James chapter 1 and verse 22.
Yeah.
But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves.
That's what happens, right? Like he was saying, right? You got to be able to look in the mirror and say, I can be better. But instead, we look in the mirror and we deceive our own selves. We say, you know what? I'm good. I don't smell like smoke. I don't mind these frogs living in my house. You know what I'm saying? We put off stuff. Well, what I'm saying we put off stuff. We procrastinate. We don't make and take advantage of every moment of our day. We just, I'm good. Go ahead.
For if any be a hearer of the word, and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass.
You're looking at yourself in the mirror. Go ahead.
For he beholdeth himself, and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was.
Instead of saying, I can improve, you just forget about the different ways you can improve. You never say, you know what? This is the stuff I got to work on. Let me write it down. And I say this all the time, man. Write things down, because what it does is it locks stuff in and it makes you remember to do it. When you don't write things down, when you type stuff out, when you make a voice memo, you forget, and then I'm calling you, and then you like, let me go to that scripture again. Go to Sirach chapter 32, verse 15. I'm going to tell you, I know this is what happens. This is really what happens. I'm going to tell you. Watch. JDL, this happens to JDL all the time. Come on.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 32 and verse 15.
Yeah.
He that seeketh the law shall be filled therewith, but the hypocrite will be offended thereat.
So what happens is, right, so I call certain officers, right, and I bet you this is what happens. When they see me calling, they like, oh, man, this nigga right here about to complain about something. He about to fuss about something.
I just know I got something to do. Either that or I got something to do.
Yeah, man. I came here earlier. I said, Yosadia, Adonai, come here, man. They said, oh, I say, I mean, yeah, and it's not because I want to just chastise everybody. I just want us to all be better. You know what I'm saying? I want us to all be better. I want us to be able to look at problems and say, this is the solution, right? This is the problem. I see this light is out. I can fix it. I don't have to wait for Officer Ananiah to tell me to fix the light. I see it's out. I can fix it. Right? That's the Mamba's mentality. What you laughing at?
Laughing at
Oh. I see it's something wrong with the crib. I can fix it.
I did it last night. You know what I'm saying?
Mamba's mentality. You know what I'm saying? You see a problem and you fix it. That's what you got to be able to do. But what happens is, I'm telling you, this is what happens too, right? Some sisters, right? I bet you when their husband get the call from me, they be like, dang, what did I do? You know what I'm saying? Why that man trying to tell you how to be a husband, how to be my husband? Like, look, I'm not trying to tell your husband how to be a husband. I'm trying to help him. You know what I'm saying? Because he don't know he smells like smoke. He doesn't know. You should encourage that. I'm not saying I'm the greatest husband ever, but I know some precepts. I know a few scriptures. You know what I'm saying?
Unless they telling their wife, how their wife know?
Well, look, man.
Y'all brothers stop that.
Oh, man. Micah 75. They don't understand this scripture.
I'm going to blast you if I find out.
It's okay. It's okay. Well, it don't sound like them. Then it don't sound like them no more. So then they know.
That sounds like Captain.
That sounds like something I haven't said.
Sounds like it's 7th class.
That's what happened though, right? You go into this place where I know that some of my calls turn into criticism when that's not the intent. It's just I want us to all be better. You know what I'm saying? Go back to James. Go back to James. Verse 24. Start at 22 again.
James chapter 1 and verse 22.
Yeah.
But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves.
So you deceive your own self when you say, you know what, I'm pushing myself as hard as I can push myself. You deceiving yourself when you say, you know what, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm good. You deceiving yourself, man. And like Kobe was saying, right, the world was his library. He looked at different things and he said, you know what can I pull from that? What can I learn from that? You know what I'm saying? I think, because a lot of y'all, I know some of the officers know, but I started waking up at 5 in the morning, right? And I picked that up. I was watching a Damon John, right? Damon John interview. He was talking about how he get up every morning and he spent some time writing in his planner, writing out his goals, and reading. And I said, you know what? I'm going to start doing it. I didn't hear that and say, you know what? I'm good at waking up 20 minutes before I got to go to work and throw my clothes on and run out the door. I said, you know what? I can improve. I can be more disciplined right here. I can do that. You know what I'm saying? I get up every morning at 5 o'clock. My wife hates it. She hears the alarm. I keep waking up all this early. I run downstairs and now it don't seem like it's early enough. I feel like I need to wake up earlier. Huh?
Get up, it's 3 o'clock with me.
You on 3 o'clock this month.
3:30.
How long you gonna stay on it?
I'm on it. I don't know how long I'm gonna stay, you know what I'm saying? But I'm here.
I'm on 5. I'm on 5 right now. It really don't feel like enough time though. It really don't. By the time I read and I pray and I write my plan, I'm like, God dang it. I'm running again. You know what I'm saying? I'm sprinting again, trying to get stuff done. Read on.
Verse 23. For if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass.
So you got to understand, sometimes you might hear the word, right, without actually hearing it out the Bible, right? You never heard Mamba mentality and say, you know what? That's what Christ was talking about when he said, wise as a serpent. Sometimes you might hear the word and you don't even know you heard the word. Come on.
For he beholdeth himself and goeth his way.
But when you examining yourself, you'll be able to see everything around you and say, you know what? I can do better at that. I can improve in that area. Go ahead.
And straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was.
But when you're not paying attention, when you're not analyzing yourself consistently, you don't see these different things that's happening around you and you're not improving. Come on.
But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deeds.
So in everything you do, you'll be blessed in it. Why? Because you continue to analyze and make the world your library. Right? So that's what having a Mamba mentality is all about.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.